That's now 8 losses in a row as the Toronto Raptors run into a motivated Cleveland team and just can't get it done. 116-105 is your final. The Raptors record now 17-25 on the year. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside Raptors Night Cap. Randy Urban alongside Sherman Hamilton, Paul Jones, and Leo Rautins. Leo, I'm going to start with you. For me, this was a game that I thought the Raptors could really turn it around. But again, issues on defense. What stood out to you defensively?
Well, before let me touch on what you just said. You thought the Raptors could get it, right? Why? Because you're playing against a team, Cleveland, that's struggling, right? They're desperate for a win. So what's Cleveland doing? They're looking at Raptors saying, "Hey, we can get a win right here." So you're playing a not necessarily a good team, but a good team that's fired up, thinking they got a chance, right? Tomorrow you're in a back-to-back against a team that's lost 20 straight, and they're going, hey, wait a minute. This team's lost 8 straight. They're coming in off a back-to-back. We can get this one. So now you got a real problem. Even teams you're supposed to beat are looking at you like chopped liver, and they're all fired up. You're getting even a better effort against these weaker teams because they think this is a chance for them to right their wrongs, right? So Raptors are in a tough situation right now, and you just have to understand that your defense is primary. And the Raptors, they dug a hole. I mean, think about this. Cleveland shot 50% from the field, 50% from three for the game. In the fourth quarter, with a lot of bench guys jumping in defensively, they shot 31%. Well, you're not going to win when teams shooting 50 and 50, right? Raptors still forced turnovers, but offensively, they took 46 threes, only made 15. There were times you're coming down and taking 1 3 after the other instead of taking in and working a less experienced team. So, you put yourself in a bad situation, it's tough to get out.
Jonesy, for me, the Raptors turned over, Cleveland a number of times, couldn't capitalize on those possessions for most of the game. But, you have this issue with Sexton getting into it with Fred and getting into it with Norm. And you think that could, Leo, you mentioned this on the broadcast. You think that could fire the Raptors up, but it does the opposite. It fires Colin Sexton up. He comes through with 14 points. What impressed me the most about him, 14 points in the third, what impressed me the most about him was he doubled down and backed it up. And he's a young guy.
He is. And listen, Leo talked about, he gave us a little motivational lesson there. Here's Sexton, a young guy, and he looks across the way and he's trying to prove, he gets into it with Norm and with Fred and the entire team, for crying out loud. You saw the way they had to be separated at halftime. And he looks across and he says, those guys have rings. Powell, Lowry, VanVleet, they have big contracts. They have rings. They have something that I want. I'm not backing down here. And he's one of these young guys that's full of, vim and vigor. And he comes out and you could see his effort level ratchet up a notch or two in that third quarter. And it was like he was ready for a challenge. He was waiting for it to come back. And I'm not saying the Raptors didn't give it back. They just didn't give it back as consistently. And then once a guy gets that and starts to feel confident, and again, I'll go back to what Leo said, he feels, hey, I can do this. I can do this. I don't care that they're championship players or they have rings or that's a championship team. I'm feeling good right now, and I'm going to take it to him. So, yeah, that might have fired him up at the end of the half. It was just probably a little bit disappointing that the Raptors didn't come out and match it with the same energy. And like, we were on the radio and we saw the TV broadcast where Kyle went in, he was pounding his right fist into his left palm and he was talking to his guys and trying to ignite the fire, and they just didn't bring it. And that's when it's difficult, because the confidence in a basketball game is like money in a poker game, Randy. When one guy's got a lot, the other guy doesn't have very much. It's a zero-sum game. And Colin Sexton was carrying a lot of it in the third quarter.
Hey, point blank, you just don't mess with a guy who has a 1985 rat tail coming out the back of his head in 2021. Those guys are crazy.
Well, sure. Outside of the rat tail, because we've all been there. Well, maybe not all of us.
No. I've never had one. And if I had one, my mom was going to cut it off. So
yeah.
No.
Leo for sure had one, probably two.
No.
Leo had the blowout perm.
Come on, Sherman, you love that, man. You love that.
I did.
And then you had the vanilla ice box cut too.
That's
Are you
right.
talking trash? Are you
No,
talking trash?
I just know it's on my Leo Rautins basketball camp T-shirt.
That's right. That's right. I took a lot of heat for that.
Hey, there's Matt in the background. Bye, Matt. Let's settle down here and Sherman, let's go back to what Jonesy was saying. What happens then? You've got Kyle barking at his team, and usually this is what motivates their guys. Like I thought, just Fred getting into it, Norm getting into it, motivate them, but they're lacking that X factor for what they usually come with, and that's their feistiness. It seems.
Yeah, I just don't think that we're paying enough attention to the impact that COVID might have had on these guys. And the fact is, we saw them play better than they did the first game in the Utah game. But again, they're not completely out of the woods. There's still potentially some things that could still be transpiring. So expecting what we normally expect from them prior to COVID, that might not be available right now. And you could see it. I mean, Pascal wasn't in the game late. You could see Fred was fighting with everything he had, but he didn't look like the Fred VanVleet from before the COVID issue. So I just think that, you never want to make excuses, but the reality is we don't know where they are regarding that. And I think if I'm looking at it from a basketball perspective, I say there was something missing. And the only thing I can really put my finger on is the fact that they might not be fully back, the guys that were impacted by COVID. Even OG, he had some good moments, but he wasn't that consistent, efficient guy that we saw the first time he came back against the Jazz. So it's not that the fight wasn't there. It's not that the mentality wasn't there. I just don't know if they have it right now, the guys that were impacted by COVID.
Hey, let me ask you something. You guys all play ball. If you take 20 days off, can't run, can't get up and down the floor,
No
you
shot.
come back and you
No
play your
shot.
first 3 games. Yeah, you're done. Your legs aren't there. You've got no rhythm. You're gonna feel like crap. Now throw in COVID. We don't know the level. Fred has spoken about it. We don't know the level of anybody else, what they felt, what they didn't feel, this or that. But regardless, just being out for that period of time and doing nothing, that is enough to screw you up, okay, as an athlete. So expectation people have of these guys coming back and all of a sudden Raptors are rolling, it's not going to happen right away. And now you got another problem. Okay, I got to get you in shape.
Yes.
So I'm going to play you. You're going to get in shape. Well, guess what happens? You're going to try to get in shape and you're going to get worn down because your body is trying to get back. Your body was fighting something, and now you're going to get as you're going to get as tired as you are in shape. So you're really in a dilemma right now. If you're Nick Nurse and you're the players in this team, to get out of what they're in.
Well, and that's just the physical side, Leo, because again, talking to people that have all played, you get on the court and you don't have your A game. There are things that you don't attempt, you don't do. You don't make that quick move and pull up. And you know what? Maybe it's not there. And you move the ball or you wait for another opportunity. There's a little bit of a hesitancy, and that's the mental side of it too. And then compound the fact that you've lost 8 in a row. And just the little things. Maybe you turn that shot down that when you're confident and you're in shape, you don't turn down. And those kinds of things, I'm not saying they're totally infectious, but they play on your mental psyche as well as the physical stuff.
Well, that leads me to Pascal. I know you touched on it, Sherm, before, but just, I feel like he's the most effective when he's asserting himself from the start of the game. And I felt like tonight he kind of eased into it a little bit, missed a few, which he usually makes. And then that can kind of throw him off, right? He passes up shots or he hesitates. And I feel like that's kind of what happened to him tonight.
Yeah, I feel there was some of that for sure. But again, I just can't discount the fact that I don't know what he's going through internally and mentally based on what he had to endure during COVID. So I'm really hesitant to really take a real look at Pascal's game right now because I don't know what he has to give. And if he's giving everything he has, then I'm not going to complain. So, but to your point, Randy, the fact that he looked hesitant, the fact that he didn't look like himself in terms of his ability to attack, it takes a big chunk out of what the Raptors are trying to do because they really rely on him in terms of his ability to move the basketball, his ability to score, to play with pace and energy, attract a second defender, and make things more open for other teammates. And he just didn't have that in this game. And I thought against the Jazz, he looked very good. But then we see how from a game-to-game situation, how significantly different players can be based on what they're coming out of. So we're going to have some patience with those guys and understand that this could be one of those things that it's really an ebb and flow thing for a while until they're really out of the woods.
And let's go back again. Think about this. We don't have a lot of information other than what Fred said, what he went through, right? So Pascal, the only thing he said, he lost 10 pounds. Well, if you take a couple of weeks off, you don't lose 10 pounds. Something's going on in your body to force you to lose 10 pounds, right? So now, whatever that is, that's big for an athlete to lose 10 pounds in season and come back and play.
And on Pascal's frame too, right?
Yeah. And he's a rhythm guy, and he fights to keep weight on. So now you've lost that weight. That's going to affect your head. It's going to affect your game. Affect a lot of things. So, we can assume some things without knowing, but any one of us are in that situation. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah. I didn't play at the level you guys did, but just in the CIS.
I'm glad you said that. That's a good point.
Monday to Thursday, I felt great. And then, I wouldn't play as much on Friday and Saturday because it was game day. And then by Monday, I felt like just those 3 days of not playing hard, I was off or I was winded. And that's without COVID. That's at my level, 3 days off. Like it's crazy.
Off more than you normally are off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Sherman, you want to go? Let's go.
If you want, I'm here.
It's on.
Easy there, Colin Sexton.
Yeah. Real quick, Jonesy, you can't stop, right? There's another one tomorrow night.
The NBA, that nobody will feel sorry for you. And as Leo pointed out off the top of the show, both teams looking at each other like fresh meat. Okay, we got to get this one. Somebody's going to get well tomorrow night. And if you're the Raptors, the travel on the back-to-back, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you. But you got to come out and keep playing hard. That has to be at least be the baseline, regardless of what you have. You might not be fully healthy, but whatever you have has to be left out there tomorrow night.
All right, guys, got to leave it there. Appreciate you doing this. Next game for the Raptors tomorrow night in Houston, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks for watching. You can click to watch our last episode or to subscribe to the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode.